Welcome and thank you for joining me in my Breakout Rooms tutorial. Now, Breakout Rooms is pretty straightforward, but there are some more in-depth things that you can do with Breakout Rooms. Now, we're doing a relatively small test size here to show how Breakout Rooms work, but you can get a good idea just from this of how it works even with a larger group from this small size. A couple of words of note on this. When you start breakout rooms or before you start breakout rooms, if there is anyone that you don't want in a breakout room or don't want in your meetings at all, you need to remove them before you actually initiate your breakout rooms. Unfortunately, the ability to remove a person from your meetings or from breakout room is not there while breakout rooms are enabled. So just to keep that in mind ahead of time. And I'll go through and I'll explain a little more and show a little more of why or how that works with having breakout rooms and what you need to do to solve that problem. It isn't extremely hard. It is just a long way around to get to something that should be a very simple task. So, again, though, it is fairly straightforward. So, first of all, we're going to open up our breakout rooms. And you'll notice that I have 4 test participants, test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4. And then I have the host test, which is me. Now, when you open breakout rooms, you get choices of how many rooms you want, and you can have whatever amount of participants will then be broken down into here. And that's the same whether it's automatically or manually. You'll still see those same numbers getting put in. Now, with assigning rooms, you can adjust it however many. You'll notice that it just adjusts immediately. So if I have one room, it would be all 4 participants per room. So you can do 4 rooms, 3 rooms. We're going to do 3 rooms just to give a good example for right now. And then we actually will probably add a few more rooms come time to actually initiate our full thing. So we're going to create the rooms. Now you'll notice that we have in breakout room 2 and 3, we have 2 lonely subjects that we're going to go ahead and we're going to move. So you highlight over the name, and then you'll see the move to. So move to, and then you've got breakout room 1 or breakout room 2. We're going to move them to breakout room 2. That way, test 2 is now got a friend, or is going to have a friend momentarily. You'll notice they haven't actually been moved to the rooms or haven't gotten the options to move to a room. They are just still in the breakout room. We're just in the breakout rooms not started. So we haven't opened our breakout rooms yet. So let's say you want to exchange someone for another room. So you just go ahead and click exchange. Select the person you want. We're going to go ahead and we're going to make it odds and evens here. And so now you have test 1, test 3 in breakout room 1, and test 2 and test 4 in breakout room 2. So it's fairly straightforward with just this part. However, there is some more initial difficulties that you can have when organizing things. Let's say somebody brand new jumps in. So we're going to remove a person. Well, this is where this comes into removing ahead of time. You don't want someone in. You come into the line here where it shows how many participants per room there is. And then you go down the line of who you want. So we're going to say we're not going to have test 4 in. So now this person is removed. You're even considering, kicking them out or putting them in the waiting room. And so you go into the more options here and you would put in waiting room, or you could remove ahead of time. In particularly, you want to use this before you make your adjustments, but in this case, we're not going to actually remove them, because what we're going to do now is, let's say they just entered your meeting. You brought them in from the waiting room. You want them to be part of your meeting again. So we're going to hit assign, and we're going to put test 4 back in the room. Now, another thing you can't do after you've initiated your rooms is you can't add any more rooms. But that's a simple thing to do beforehand. So having a few extra breakout rooms might actually be beneficial. So we're going to add, how about 7? Well, you decide maybe, well, 7's just a little overkill. So you know what? I'm just going to delete 1. So now you hover over the room channel and you've got the 2 extra options here, rename and delete. Again, pretty straightforward. Delete. It asks you, are you sure? And you're going to hit yes. All right. Now we're going to talk about renaming. Again, straightforward. Click on rename. You get the option here. We're going to put this test final. All right. So for the most part, you may find that you don't really need to use renaming, or you don't have to do a lot of adding and deleting of rooms, but this is how you would generally do it, and the easy way to go about that. So now we've got our everybody where we want them. We've exchanged who we want to where they want to be. A couple people have told you, oh, I want to be in this room, or I want to be in that room with this person or that person. You've got it pretty well straight out. So now you're going to open all your rooms. You click on open all, and they have now the ability to join. So we're going to join these ones momentarily here. All right. So now we have all of our everyone has entered into their breakout rooms, and you're going to notice here on the participant side, only the host is left in your main screen, or your main word just left my brain. Yeah, your main area, your lobby, so to speak. So let's say you want to join. Well, you can join any one of these rooms. So we're going to join room 1. You're going to get this dialog box here, joining breakout rooms, breakout room 1. And this is what everyone else is seeing as well as they're going through this. And you're always going to get these little pop-ups here. You are muted, Alt F, all that fun stuff. Now we're going to bring up our participants, and you notice that you don't have the view of your main screen anymore. You only have breakout room 1. So you cannot see your waiting room at this point. So if somebody tries to enter, you won't be able to see who's coming in. So it's something else to keep in mind, especially if you're going to have like seminars or something like that, to be sure to and make sure you have a host that is willing to just be there to do your letting in of different people, and somebody you trust who can watch things, observe things. And that way, if people can also want to leave and join another room, they can come out of that room and tell you, and then you can move them accordingly. Because, again, they can't leave and then try to join a different room. Only the hosts and co-hosts can do that. So it's something to really keep in mind when utilizing these breakout rooms. So we're going to go ahead and go back. We're going to leave the room, just right here. you have the options to leave the meeting or leave the breakout room. We're just going to leave breakout room. Again, we get the same returning to main session. That's the word I was looking for, session. And now we're in the main session once again. Again, this is kind of like your lobby. You'll be able to see your waiting room, and you'll be able to see all of your participants in the main session. So if you bring up breakout room again, you can also see where all of your participants are and where they're located. Now, let's say you just talked to breakout room 1, and they wanted to join test 2 and test 4. So you're going to move them to breakout room 2 and move to breakout room 2. Now, they will automatically join those rooms. They don't have to do anything beyond that. It's just join. So you can go in and talk to them. This would also be really great where co-hosts can be able to roam and go into each room and talk to everybody, see how they're feeling. And if they want to be moved if someone wants to be moved somewhere, they could talk to them right immediately. Or maybe you have a situation where you have multiple conversations trying to go on at once, and you have two people that say, hey, no, we would like to have a conversation about this. Could you move us to a different room? This is where having those extra breakout rooms really becomes valuable. So let's say test 2 and test 3 want to go have a private room. So we're going to go take them down to test final. And now they're in their final stage. So again, we see the value of making sure we have those extra breakout rooms just in case when we start off. Then you have a final other situation here that you can use is you can broadcast your message. So you can say something like this. Thank you. And this will actually go up on right in the middle of the screen for Android devices and iPads, and at the top of the page for Windows devices. And it's in a blue with white lettering on the Windows devices and black with light lettering on Android devices. I'm not sure what it is for iPad for the coloring, but you get the general gist of it. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to close all rooms. And I want to show you what happens when you have to close all rooms and you want to bring everything back up to where they were before. This, again, is very straightforward. We've got a 60-second warning. Now, they can choose to leave right away. But I like having the 60-second warning personally because it gives everybody a little bit of time to finish up their conversation or get to a pause point in their conversation so they don't forget what they were going to say, and they can then rejoin the rooms and then continue their conversations. So we're going to just go ahead and leave the breakout rooms, make this a little easier for us. There we go. Now it takes us back to our breakout rooms not being started page. And this is where we can then go ahead and add more rooms. Now we have additional options that we can consider again here as well. Talked a little bit about moving them around automatically and allowing the participants to return to the main section at any time. We saw how that works. One of the things that's really great is you can also adjust breakout rooms to close automatically after X number of times. So you can adjust that. So let's say we want 60 minutes. So let's say you're going to take a lunch break and you're going to let people just kind of mingle. But it's a little hard to mingle when you have, say, 100 participants to have conversations and everybody's talking over each other. So you go to 60 minutes and go, hey, we're going to set this up. Everybody can have lunch. We'll set it up. Everybody visit, whatever you need to do. And you've now got a 60-minute timer for yourself as well. So this can make it really nice to have a quick, simple timer, and everybody's getting to have a nice conversation in. And then you can have it notify you when the time is up in case you have to do anything, start a music presentation or anything else like that. You can have it ready immediately after or be notified so that if you get distracted or something like that, all this, after 60 minutes, it will let you be notified that this is happening. So we're not going to initiate that right now. Again, we have that countdown after closing. You have 5 different options: 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or 120 seconds. Now you can just turn it off. And then when you close breakout rooms, it will just immediately cut it all off. It's entirely up to you. That's another option that you can change in the system right at the beginning here of breakout rooms. This is also your key point when if you need to remove somebody, maybe somebody's being belligerent or difficult, you would have to end the breakout rooms to be able to remove them from the meeting. And that means kicking them completely out. Or you could put them in the waiting room is another way you could do it. Put them in a timeout, so to speak. So that's pretty much breakout rooms and its final. You're going to notice here too, all my participants are where they were at when I closed the window. They're still at their location. So when I hit open all rooms, they're going to immediately go back to their location. So I do my quick thing, I adjust it, and then I send them back out. So again, fairly straightforward. There are a few little things that are quirks of the program, but it is very functional for sure. Recreate, you can have it just immediately do this particular style again. Obviously, we already have it up and running. We don't need to do that. But if you were to close out all of these rooms, so like let's say you deleted this, delete, delete, delete. Now you could go here and you could recreate all rooms, 6 rooms, recreate all. And now you have your 6 rooms back. And then you just have to move your individuals back to where they are, rename your room. But again, it populates it for you so that you, especially when you're dealing with a lot of participants, it will really help shorten the amount of time that you need to spend having to put everybody in, and everybody's waiting on you to get these rooms set up. Right, that's pretty much it on breakout rooms. There are some more advanced settings, but this will get you through most everything of the basics of using breakout rooms. Then again, thank you very much for joining me, and you have a good day.